Help.
Now they got rough. You just see all the snot on my fucking shirt? Oh my god. Are you recording?
Mm-hmm. I'm not cutting that out.
Stop! Nobody needs to know that I'm a
Ah.
fucking fat chud.
Hello, people of the internet. It is your boy Kishiwishi, and today we're gonna do something kind of like a fusion of the last video and my regular rambling videos because you know your nigga has a lot more free time at home now. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. But what you think happened, kind of. And we're gonna kind of talk about it a little bit today. So for starters, I'm gonna take this shit out of my fucking ear because hear myself 4 different times. Today I'm gonna talk about immigration. I'm pretty sure I spoke about immigration before, like maybe half a year ago. Today I'm gonna talk about it in a different lens, or like a more in a way that makes more sense to the average American citizen, which, you know, your boy has been on both sides of the aisle. I am an immigrant. Yeah, me come from Jamaica. You think I joke me I make? No, me can show no picture right now from when time I ended on that. Back in 2014, that's probably the most documented time of my life when men dead on in Jamaica. You know, actually, at this point in the video, yeah, look on gameplay and me go to show no the little slideshow pictures of me from my time in Jamaica. All right, the slides over. The reason why I have grown to dislike immigration policies in America is not necessarily for the immigrants themselves. Like, yeah, I already know the main argument people talk about is like, oh, well, they leave the ones that commit crimes in their countries, if they escape their country by committing a crime to come over here, coming here illegally, then they're bad people or whatever the hell. I understand that argument, and also the argument of just like even just regular everyday people who just overstay their visas over here, they should have a right to be here. But like, motherfucker, I've been through the immigration process. I know I know how hard and annoying it is and how long it takes to get everything in order. But I kid you not, and I know I'm speaking from a place of fucking privilege, because he's like, one thing you would know about the Caribbean diaspora, if you're a Caribbean person and you actually make it to America, you're part of the like the 1% of the Caribbean. Like, if you can actually, or not even just America, but like if you can emigrate from your country, like let's say you're from like fucking I almost said Guatemala. Let's say you're from like St. Kitts. Yeah, I'm gonna say a country that most of y'all niggas don't even know what the fuck. You point on the map where St. Kitts is right now, nigga. You can't do it. If you're a person from like St. Kitts and you manage to fully immigrate, and I'm saying emigrate, not immigrate, emigrate. Yeah, learn the different terminology. Emigrate is the act of leaving a country and going to another one. If you can fully do that to another like first world country, not even America, but like the UK, which, you know, technically the UK is what shows what would America start looking like if we just let everyone in, or even Canada, you're part of the 1%. The thing is, when it comes to a lot of the people that do end up coming over here to America aren't a part of the 1%, especially the ones that come here illegally or like by more, you know, legal loophole means. They tend to either not even be fully assimilated into the culture itself. And I'm living in Miami, so I'm speaking very, very specifically. I have a very specific image in my head of what I'm talking about. I will always say this, and I don't give a fuck if someone wants to call me a racist or a bigot or whatever the fuck. Nigga, I am not gonna move to fucking France if I can't speak French. I'm not gonna rip my life out from the place that I'm currently at to move to France, and for you fucking mongoloids who are like, oh, okay, France, but what about other countries? Nigga, I'm not gonna move to fucking Germany unless I can speak Deutschland, nigga. Deutsch. Like, I can't fucking du bist Kuckuck. Like, I don't know what the fuck that nigga's saying. You are enough, but you know. Why is it that there's people going to other countries but they refuse to assimilate with the culture? Look at me. You know, sister, me can switch up my voice at any time. This is how me usually chat when time I'm on the phone with my mother. But I'm in America, and American people don't know what the fuck I'm saying. So I assimilated into the culture to make it easier for myself and the people around me to be together and to live. Because, you know, the United States, it's not the divided states. It's not the fucking, well, technically right now it's the divided states because of shit they're doing upstairs. Enough rambling. The main reason why I am against immigration too is the very, very fucking weird job app practices or like labor practices of some companies when it comes to these immigrants. And I'm speaking from personal experience. From this point in the video, just to cover my ass, just in the back of your mind, just imagine this word being played every time I say a claim. Allegedly. 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 Right? Just in the back of allegedly. Like allegedly at the job that I was currently working, you know, the job that had me working 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week with no fucking overtime. That's part of the reason why I'm home right now, because if I didn't, you know, have a brain or know the labor laws, I would be at work right now in the hot sun, giving these niggas free labor. But the reason why I'm talking about it is a lot of the people that do get into these types of jobs, and this is more so like in the blue collar field, you'll see more of this. There's this thing, taking a step back. Do you guys know the difference between 1099 and W-2? Why am I even asking that question? A lot of y'all niggas never had a fucking job before. Okay, so basically, if you in America, as an American citizen, go in for a job like fucking McDonald's, Target, Walmart, like any place like that, any like official corporation, you get a W-2. And as a W-2 worker, that means you know, you have all of your stuff, you know, your social security, all of that. You're an American citizen. You have the right to work in America. That is how it works. In order to be under W-2, and don't quote me on this because I don't know every single thing about the W-2 law, but what I do know is under W-2 contract, or it's not even a contract, that's just like the workplace agreement, because you're an employee, you have the right to 1.5 times your hourly wage after 40 hours of work, because the standard for work in America is 40 hours. Even working at a restaurant, a lot of businesses, what they do is if they don't want to pay you overtime, because why would you want to pay someone a lot more money for the same work? As soon as you see that their hourly schedule for the week is gonna reach 40 hours, go home, nigga. Right? That's how it works. It's like, oh shit, you worked 42 hours this week. All right, I guess we'll slide in an extra $5 on those last 2 hours. But get the fuck home now, nigga. That's how it's supposed to work in a healthy and nice workplace. But this is where my story takes a turn. Allegedly at this blue, gray collar, whatever the fuck you want to call it, company that I was working for, their excuse for why I couldn't be W-2 is because they didn't have enough space. And I filled out my direct deposit information during the hiring process. And also during the hiring process, another red flag that I saw, I had to sign a resignation letter, allegedly, before I even started my first shift. And when I was reading that, I'm not going to disclose who was with me, but I was with a person that I know very well that would tell me they essentially kind of got me the job. They did not know the manager as well as they should have. They just knew of them, but they had some type of I don't know. I'm not gonna go into details because like this is my fucking story. They told me, okay, I'll tell you what it is. Basically, the resignation letter signing shit is like to keep the company not liable for anything that happens with the contract. So like if like there's an investigation that allegedly comes up and you're a part of it, they can just simply say, oh yeah, no, they don't work here. See, they signed their resignation letter. And that fact alone really rubs me the wrong way, because if I'm an immigrant, by the way, this company I'm talking about specifically hires people that don't know how to speak fucking English. And I don't care what anybody says. There's not a single American citizen. There's not a single full-born, fully-blooded American citizen who does not know at least a little bit of English. And if my statement is not true, that is a fucking problem, because the official language of the United States is English. I don't give a fuck what anybody, oh, they're doing official language. Nigga, I wish I had a dollar bill on me right now. The wording on the dollar or the currency of your country should be the fucking language you speak, and I don't give a fuck if anyone disagrees with that. It says $1, not un pesos. It doesn't say un fucking French bullshit word for money, monio, or currency or some shit. Like, no, it's a dollar. It's $1. $1 American dollar. So I'm already like, that's kind of weird, because you guys primarily hire immigrants, people who barely know English, and people who can barely read these small fine print things. Knowing that, it's like, oh, okay, so like if a little immigrant you fucking hire on the spot because you need guys, they're severely understaffed, does something that you don't like, you have it dangling over their head that they don't work there anymore. Now they're stranding in the country with no fucking work, or like they're indebted to you, so you abuse them. And speaking of the abuse, the part that I actually want to get into now, the pay. So you remember earlier how I told you the difference between 1099 and W2, but I didn't even tell you about 1099. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, a 1099 contract is essentially being a YouTuber or being on Twitch. Like for Twitch, I actually have a contract 1099 where basically I can make money. It's not an hourly thing. It's just, this is currency for the trade. Like there's 1099 contracts are different. Some places, depending on like if you're working on a site and you just like, okay, you set the price yourself, by the way, for the most part when it comes to 1099. In the case for Twitch, it's not necessarily they set the price, but you set how you make your money. That's how 1099 works. It's not like, okay, I get an hourly check, I get hourly pay. No, it's 1099. That's how a 1099 should be. The thing that this job does is they do this thing, and I've learned about it, called worker misclassification, right? If you're under 1099, think of W2 as, okay, W2 is basically you're in a relationship, right? And then a 1099 is a prostitute, okay? You see a W2 as a W2, it's like, okay, you know, there's structure. I expect you to be here at this time. You're supposed to be, this is what you're supposed to do. Like, we've already had the conversation where there's already like something there that there's a reason why this relationship is there. It's W2. You're my employee, I'm the employer. You come here these times a week, and this is what you do when you're here. That's how W2 works. 1099, however, which is like being an ex worker, I don't have to be there. I set the prices one day, and because I'm the one that set the prices and when I should be there, at any moment I can go to another person to do the same services. So there's no like, oh, I'm tied to you, like I have to do this. But what this place does, they do worker misclassification, where they put you under the contract for your pay as 1099, which, by the way, 1099, you basically get taxed twice. I'm pretty sure you get taxed both employer and employee taxes because you're a contractor. You're basically both. You're self-employed in that sense. But what they do, they put you under a contract as 1099, but the workplace structure is under W2. So you're telling me I have a set schedule to be here every week, but I'm under 1099. The thing with 1099 has no overtime, which is where I really wanted to come into with this video. For the past 2 or so weeks, you know, allegedly, I worked 120 hours. That's why I haven't really been on the YouTube or the Twitch or even the shorts and reels in TikTok. I was working 120 hours, or let me not sound like it's a lot, 60 hours a week, which is still a lot because, you know, most full-time adults work 40 hours a week. And if they do work more than 40, they get paid overtime. Yesterday, I picked up my check and there was no overtime pay on there. Mind you, in the position that I was in, I was under the agreement that I wouldn't be working more than 40 hours, like nowhere near it. I was working only 16 because I had another part-time job, and that was the agreement at first. But then they saw me and they're like, you know what? We're gonna put you in a higher stress position and increase your pay eventually. Eventually never fucking came because I was still getting paid the regular rate. So on top of me having like supervisor responsibilities, I also was getting paid as a non-supervisor with no overtime after they told me I was going to get paid overtime. So with that in mind, right, if they're doing this to me, by the way, I got my citizenship back in 2020, you know? I'm not stupid. I've been through the American public school system as well. And I've been to college. Not to like fucking, you know, jerk my own horn. But if you're doing this to me, what the fuck are you doing to these other niggas in the company? Because there's this one guy, like on my first week of training, who told me that he was there for the past he's been awake for 24 hours. And then the next time I went to the next shift to train, he was still there. And he had to train me. Like, this motherfucker was literally like passing out, sleeping in the break room at this job because they just have him working these crazy hours. And I looked at the schedule one time and yeah, this guy would work like 2-3 shifts a day, like 5 days a week. And if he's under the same contract as me, arguably speaking, that nigga was working even more hours than me, but not even getting paid overtime. And when I heard that, I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't want nothing to do with this company, allegedly, anymore. Because why is it in your conscience you think you're doing these people a favor? Like, oh, just because you don't have the proper paperwork to be an American, this and that, we're gonna give you a job, we're gonna overwork you and underpay you, like no overtime. We're gonna expect you to be here for more than 40 hours against your fucking will, or not technically against your will, but they want you to work, they'll make you work more than 40 hours a week, but they won't tell you about, like, I believe that there's a lot of people who have very rudimentary English language skills, or even if they do know English, they might not be the most literate. Like, I can say my fucking direct supervisor was kind of fucking illiterate at some points. Like, niggas were using ChatGPT. Like, you have a group of people that either barely know the language or barely know how to read. You give them a contract to sign, and then you just pay them and don't tell them how much more they could be getting paid despite the workload. Because when I looked at my check, I was just like, what the fuck is this? Because you see, look at my skin color. I might look like a stupid black monkey, right? I might look like a but like, nigga, I know how to do math. With overtime calculated, they technically underpaid me by like $400. And I'm just like, if they underpaid me by $400 and I'm supposed to be the supervisor, who the fuck else are they underpaying? So yeah, I know this video probably took a little turn than what you were expecting. Like, yeah, I'm not saying like, oh, I hate immigrants because they make my country stink, especially when they come from different parts. Like, no, I hate the current immigration laws because they allow companies like this to act like they're doing people a favor, but in reality, they're just extorting people for free labor or cheaper labor. And I know this is nothing new. I just rubbed shoulders with it in my time, and hopefully me making this video can let you guys, you know, have a more of an understanding as to why it's a multifaceted argument when it comes to immigration. It's not just, oh, we don't want these people in our country. No, them coming into our country make the quality of life worse because of people upstairs that will extort workers to do cheaper stuff. And with that same argument, right? Okay, Kishan, you don't want to work for us at the rate, at our terms? All right, we're just gonna hire another fucking immigrant to do exactly what we made you do. And then that's the end of the story. They're still doing the fuck shit. There's still multiple people getting fucked over, but you know what? It's out of my hands. I am not a legal representative in any capacity, so everything that I said was allegedly, and the company that is in question was never mentioned. But you know, at the end of the day, we're all American around here.